Today I'm going to take you through a 30-minute calisthenics leg workout that you can do as a follow along with me. I'm going to give you some beginner modifications throughout if you need them. This is a bodyweight workout and all you need is an exercise mat and either a bench, box, chair or sofa. We're going to start off with a bodyweight warm-up and then move on to the main strength sections. Let's get going. So we're going to start off doing 4 exercises, 30 seconds each. The first one is a bodyweight squat. So you stand with your feet around shoulder width apart, put your hands just behind your ears with a nice open chest position. And we're going to do 30 seconds and we'll transition without any rest between these 4. So squatting down and back up. I want your knees to point out to match your foot angle. So don't let your knees collapse inside of your big toe. You want to sit your hips nice and low. Don't be afraid of your knees going over your toes. That's absolutely fine. Just try and make sure your heels stay on the floor. We're going to link this straight into some alternating reverse lunges. So we're going to go alternating backward steps, dropping the back knee down to either gently touch or come very close to the floor. Again, making sure that front knee isn't collapsing in towards the big toe. Try and keep it turned out slightly towards the little toe. We're linking this straight into a good morning. Gonna get the hamstring stretching. So hands behind your ears again. Hinge at the hip this time. Feel the hamstring stretch. Scoot through back to the top. So you're just hinging at the hip, scooting back through. You can unlock your knees, but you should be maintaining relatively straight legs. Keep that upper back posture engaged. Imagine someone's pulling your hips backwards and you're folding in half on that hinge action. Okay, now we're going to do some extensions. So you're going to come up, extend out, in and down. Up, extend out, in and down. It looks simple, but it's surprisingly difficult. What we're aiming to do is to maintain quad height. As you extend out, you'll feel your quads and hip flexors firing up, and you'll feel your hamstrings stretching out. So we've got 2 rounds, so we're going straight back in to these bodyweight squats now. So slight turn out to the feet. Nice upright position for these squats. Knees pushed out. Upper back engaged, open chest position for good posture. Good to get the knees warmed up a bit. We're going to link this into those reverse lunges. Don't worry, you'll get slightly longer rests within the main workout, but it's just good to keep this warm-up flowing. Get the joints warmed up, get the heart rate up slightly, ready for some challenging calisthenics exercises. So we're linking this straight into those good mornings. So pulling the hips back, feeling those hamstrings stretch, squeeze the glutes through. For a good morning, your feet should be a bit narrower than your squat. And generally, they're not really going to be turned out. They're going to be parallel to one another as well. Just like you would if you were doing a Romanian deadlift. Okay, we've got those extensions. So knee up, extend out, maintain height as you come back in. Funny looking one, but you'll notice if you've got weak hips and tight hamstrings, when you extend out, your leg drops really low. And don't worry if that's happening, you just do the best you can. You also want to maintain a nice tall posture through your torso. As you do these, you don't want to crunch forwards. All right, that's the warm-up complete. So we're going to go into section 1. We've got 2 main strength sections within this workout. I'm going to start off, you need a bench, box, sofa, something to sit on We're going to do some pistol squats. They're very challenging, so I've given a beginner variation where you could go down on one leg, but up with two. But if you're ready to go, stand in front of your box on one leg. We're doing 30 seconds. Let's go. So you're sitting down, standing back up. So one leg's out front. You got to bend that knee. Try and just gently touch the box, bench, chair, or whatever you're using. We're maintaining control on the way down. If you're going for that beginner option, you're just going down with one and then standing up with two. Great job. We've got a short 10-second transition, so we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to shift the weight onto that other side. Get ready to put the other leg out in front. A little bit of counterbalance with the hands. Squatting down. What I aim to try and do is to just sit right on the edge of the bench, perched as if I'm about to stand up. That stops you from just collapsing back into a seated position. So we're always ready to stand back up. Again, making sure that knee tracking is good. So we don't want that knee to be collapsing in. We want to keep it out and keep that heel on the floor. All right, great job. Next up, we're going to go onto a single leg Romanian deadlift. So we're going to test your balance out. The beginner modification is to just do this assisted with one hand on the wall for balance. But if you're ready to go, we're going to do 30 seconds on one leg. I'm going to start off with a little knee tuck. We're going to kick into a Romanian deadlift. And then we're going to come back. I'm going to pull that knee up. And we're going to repeat. It's okay to wobble. It's all part of the practice. Can't promise I'll be perfect for this. I'll give it a good go. Let's try and avoid any aeroplaning of the hips. So that means we're avoiding turning the hips, twisting as we go. You can always finish your rep off. We're going to the other side now. So we've got 30 seconds on the other side. So I'm going to pull that knee up to my chest. And you're going to kick it out. Ooh, little wobble. Let's get my balance back. There you go. It gives you permission to wobble as well. There we go. Getting the balance back in this leg. A little tip for not turning your hip is to try and turn the foot to point down towards the floor. Great job. A little wobbly, but we got there. Okay, we've got some lateral lunges next. So I'm going to stand in like a split stance position, but allowing a little bit of room for movement. We're going to go lateral lunges for 40 seconds, alternating sides. So we're going to lunge down, knee stays pushed out, back up, down to the other side, sitting as low as you can. Your trailing leg should stay straight. We're trying to get a nice stretch in these. Calisthenics is all about strength and mobility. This is not a HIIT workout. I'm not saying that your heart rate's not going to go up, but the goal is to develop strength through a large range of motion using your body weight. Great job. Take a little breather. We're going to go back with those pistol squats. So there's round 1 of 3 done in this first section. If you're struggling with your heel coming off the floor on the pistol squats, I recommend putting a little plate under your heel, or if you're at home, maybe a box. Let's get ready to go with those pistols. So controlling the way down, gentle touch, and back up. Try and keep a relatively upright torso. Remember, just touching the bench as close to the edge as you can, rather than sitting fully back. This is a really tough one, so don't worry if you're struggling. I'm sure many other people will be too. Great job. taking it to the other side. Like I said, if you want to do these with a little heel elevation, it's a really good option if you lack some ankle mobility. I want you to focus on controlling that front knee. That means it's okay for it to wobble, but don't just let it fall in to the center. This is good for ankle stability, hip stability, and of course, quad strength. Let's always finish your rep. Don't worry too much about the timer. Great job. Okay, we're on to those single leg Romanian deadlifts. So I'm going to be standing on one leg. I'm going to try and avoid any aeroplaning of the hips. Let's tuck one knee to the chest, and we're going to kick back with that same leg. I'm going to keep the toe pointed down towards the floor, and I'm going to go back into that tuck. Keep the back foot pointed down. That'll stop your hips opening. You can unlock the knee of the leg that you're standing on, but you shouldn't be bending it too much as you come into this Romanian deadlift position. And you also probably shouldn't have it completely locked out either. Ooh. All right, let's take it to the other side. Let's see if I can get this right this time without wobbling all over the place. So we're gonna stand on one leg. Okay, we'll concentrate. It helps if you focus on one spot on the floor. I like to look just in front of me, pick a point on the floor, and it makes your balance a lot easier. Always finish your rep. Great job, we've got those lateral lunges. And as we warm up, we should be able to start going a little lower into these. Because at first you might be a bit tight. But hopefully we can get some range of motion into this now. A mistake I see a lot is people letting the knee cave in, but the foot's pointed out. We want to keep this out like that as we come down. Again, keeping that knee out, trailing legs straight, nice big stretch down the inside. I can lean forward slightly with the body, but I'm not collapsing too far. Still maintaining somewhat of an upright posture. All right, great job. There's 2 rounds done. 1 to go, and then we're going to switch up the exercises to some new ones. If you fancy having a go at some full pistol squats, I'll give you a little try now. I'll show you the full version, but carry on with those box squats if you're more comfortable with them. Definitely a hard one. Great job. Gonna take it to the other side now. So you might find that you're actually better on your weaker side because you're less stiff in that leg, but I'll give it a go with this one for myself. Maybe not going to be able to spend quite as long in the bottom of each rep, but I can just about get there, keeping my heel on the floor. This requires a difficult mix of flexibility and strength. That's why you'll rarely see people be able to do pistol squats. You get a lot of strong people and you get a lot of flexible people, but you don't get that many people that can bring it together, and that's what calisthenics is all about. Let's go with the single leg Romanian deadlifts. Great job. On to the next side. All right, last exercise in this first section, we've got that final set of lateral lunges. I like to have a slight turn out to my feet, but keep them symmetrical. Leaving a little bit of room for movement. Feeling a little bit warmer now, so I can go a little bit lower. Maybe you can too. Up. All right, take a break, get a sip of water. We're going to go on to the next section. So we've got 3 new exercises. First one is a Bulgarian split squat, but I'll show you how to do just a regular split squat if that's too challenging. So there'll be a beginner modification available for that. Second one is a reverse Nordic curl, which is a tough one, but really good for the quads. And the third one is a glute exercise on the mat, lying on your back. But for the Bulgarian split squat, bring one foot out front, put your back foot upside down on your box, bench, sofa, or whatever you've got. And let's go. So we're going to slowly go down, go as low as you're comfortable with, and then control back up to the top. Now, I want you to think of this as a single leg squat. So the majority of your weight should be in this front leg. And really it's just like a back foot supported squat. Again, making sure that knee isn't collapsing in. It's absolutely fine to lean forward slightly when you're in this bottom position to stop you overarching your lower back. Always finish your rep. Let's go to the other side. You might find this tough if you've got very tight hips. So slowly down, and I'm trying to put the majority of my weight into this front leg here. And I'm treating it as if it's a single leg squat on the front leg, but just with a little bit of a back foot balance assistance. Great for getting this glute and hamstring stretching. I'm leaning forward just slightly, not slouching, but just to avoid any overarch of the lower back. Great job. Okay, I'm going to double my mat up. You might even want a cushion under your knees for these. So we're going to be in a kneeling position. You can do these band assisted if you're really struggling. You can tuck your toes under or flatten your feet out like I am. We're going to go back, keeping a straight line with the body. Push off the shins and shoes, bringing yourself back to upright. You're going to go back, try and test a little bit further. Push off the shins and shoes, coming back up, little click, and then we're going to start pushing it It's more important that you keep a straight line than go really far back. So I don't really care how far it looks like you're going, as long as you're feeling that stretch and tension down the quads. Again, don't worry too much about the clock. Always finish your last rep off with control. Oh. All right, it's definitely a tough one. So we're gonna come onto our back now on the mat. I'm gonna start with my right leg on the floor, pushing through the heel. I'm gonna let my left leg come up top. So we're gonna drive up, pause, 2 seconds at the top. Back down till your hips make gentle contact with the floor, and then straight back up. I'm trying to have a 90-degree angle at both knees. And when I'm in that top glute bridge position, from my right shoulder down to my knee, you should have a nice straight line. Finish your rep, don't worry too much about the clock, like I said before. And then relax. We're gonna switch to the other side. I'm gonna drive through my left heel, tucking the other leg up towards my chest and pausing, back down. I'm only making brief contact with the floor. I'm just brushing the floor really with my hip, and then straight back up. So we're not releasing tension during the set. In fact, we're holding at the top to increase the time under tension. Try not to arch your lower back. You actually want to crunch your abs forward slightly as you pelvic tilt under. All right, great job. There's round 1 done. So we've got 2 more, and then that'll be the workout complete. So we're back to the Bulgarian split squat, or just a regular split squat if you've picked the beginner modification. You can do these with weight if you want, but body weight should be enough for most people.
So freezing, so cold, behold, frostbite, they feeling I could tear you apart, I could go, don't believe in feelings, I just need a taste in my mind starts feeling, I don't pace myself.
Great job, over to the other side now.
I just love the feeling, I ain't gonna give up, got too little time, I'ma live up, head down, push forward through.
You can play around with your foot position, so if you feel like you're too squashed up when you're in that bottom of the lunge, try just hopping forward slightly. And if you feel you're overstretching, then try coming a little closer to the bench. Onto those reverse Nordic curls. So a Nordic curl is actually a hamstring exercise, but you need a little bit more equipment for it, or you could do it with a partner. But the reverse Nordic is the opposite, hitting the quads from the opposite side. So keep the glutes engaged, keep the ribs tucked down and in. So I'm pelvic tilting under, crunching slightly, holding that locked in place as I come back to the top. If you want to put your arms out, it makes it a little easier. Gets a bit of your weight distributed forwards. Fit one more in. That's definitely tough, feeling the quads on that. Let's switch it up onto the glutes now. So I'm gonna drive off the right heel, lifting the left knee up towards my chest, holding at the top for a couple of seconds. So maximize the time you spend at the top of the rep, and then just hot potato off the mat. so that you're increasing the time under tension during the set instead of resting. Definitely starting to feel it in the legs now. Let's go to the other side. So I'm driving through the left heel, drawing the right knee up to the chest. Notice that I'm pushing predominantly through the heel. It's okay to push through the toe, but that'll give you a little bit more hamstring activation. We've already done some hamstring work, so we're trying to focus on the glutes on this one. If you see me put my hand on my stomach, it's because I'm making sure I'm not overarching my lower back, and I can do that because I can feel my abs opening out when I am. That's it, 2 down, 1 to go, and that's the workout complete. If you're enjoying this, you got a little bit more energy at the end, I'll recommend 2 short workouts that you could do. Maybe you want to do a cool down stretch, or maybe you want to do a little bit of abs. I'll link one of each at the end of this. Let's go with those Bulgarian split squats. Taking it onto the other side. Tempo wise, we want to be, I think, 3 to 4 counts on the way down, and then 1 to 2 counts on the way up. So I go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. Can fit 1 more rep in. All right, got this tough one. I know this and the pistols are probably going to be the ones you struggle with, but just pick some of the beginner modifications. Don't be ashamed to try them and build yourself up. Let's go glutes engaged, abs engaged, leaning back, not going too far, pushing back. Probably the biggest mistake I see is people trying to replicate what they're seeing other people do. Whereas actually you might get a better set if you just stop here. Feel that nice quad tension as you're staying engaged, and then pushing yourself up with a nice neat line from knee to shoulder, rather than trying to go all the way here and then being a bit scrappy on the way up. We can work down to that. Oh, feeling the quads a lot on that one. Definitely one you have to concentrate to keep your alignment right for it though. Okay, let's get ready for those glute bridges. So I'm going to drive through the right heel, lift the left leg up to the chest, pause, slowly down, make brief contact with the floor with maybe your hips and your heel, and then you come straight back up into the next rep. When you're in the top, you should be tilting your pelvis under, like you're tucking your tailbone underneath, and at the same time driving your top 2 ribs down, bringing your abs closer together to stop any overarch of the lower back. All right, okay, we're on to our final set. So we're gonna go with that left leg and we're gonna drive through the heel. Don't worry if you're doing the other way around, as long as you do both legs. So driving up, tensing the glute, tucking the pelvis, tucking the ribs, bringing this knee up towards the chest, stops you from overarching your lower back too much anyway. This can be done on the bench as well. if you prefer it done like that. And that's a wrap. That's the workout complete. Thanks so much for joining me. If you fancy carrying on the workout and doing a little ab routine, I'll link one here. If you want to improve your flexibility to help out with some of those exercises, I'll put a mobility or flexibility routine here. Let me know where you're from. I love to hear where people are following along from, so put it in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want to be part of the community, and I'll see you again soon for another workout.